6-unit on Summit?
Yeah, we approved a 5-unit there once before.
It's 2 o'clock.
You all set, Gene?
You are all, I am all set. Are you all set?
Okay, the meeting will
Okay.
please come to order. This is a duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of our city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of this board is final. In respect, it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you do have recourse in a court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. Final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, please poll the board.
Mr. Bias?
Here.
Mr. Nachtrieb?
Here.
Ms. Radakovich?
Here.
Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Ms. Rohr?
Here.
Chairman Hennessy.
Fair.
All right, first on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
Motion would be in order.
So move.
Second.
Second.
We have motion and second to approve the minutes. Poll the board.
Mr. Nachtrieb?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, next on the agenda is citizens to be heard on agenda items. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and the Zoning Board of Appeals members do not generally respond to public comments. Everything on the agenda tonight is also a public hearing, so if you are here for an agenda item, you can speak now, or you can hold your comments for when the item is called as a public hearing item. All right, then moving on on the agenda is old business public hearing, and we have none. Next is new business public hearing. And the first item is petition 2024-59, which is a series of variations to allow construction of a new single-family residence. The applicant and owner of the property is Noe Patino, and the location is 1115 Cora Street. Under purpose, the applicant is requesting the following variations to allow construction of a new single-family house on the vacant lot at 1115 Cora Street. The first is a variation to reduce the required front yard setback from 30 feet to 15 feet. Second is a variation to reduce the required side yard setback from 7.1 feet to 5 feet. And the third variation is to reduce the required sum of side yards from 17.8 feet to 10 feet. And the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the final decision on these variation requests. Under site-specific information, the subject site is 50 feet by 133 feet and is currently undeveloped. The lot has the same width and area as most other lots on the block. The property previously contained a single-family home and detached garage that were demolished around 2014. The property is zoned R2 single-family residential. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the property is located in the Cunningham neighborhood and is surrounded by other residences with the R2 single-family residential zoning. The block contains a mix of 1- and 2-story homes, most of which were built between 1880 and 1930. For applicable regulations is section 47-6.4 R2 district yard and lot requirements, section 47-17.22 nonconformities, and then section 47-19.8 finding of facts supporting a variation, and you can refer to your attachment. Under discussion, the approval of the requested variations would allow the owner to build a new 2-story single-family home on a vacant lot. The house would be approximately 40 feet wide and 35 feet deep, with a covered front porch and front-facing 2-car garage. Proposed exterior materials are vinyl siding with some brick veneer on the first floor of the main facade. And there's elevations in your staff report packet and on the screen. The owner is requesting to reduce the side yards to 5 feet in order to fit the proposed home on the lot. The 6,650 square foot lot is slightly smaller than the required lot area of the 7,500 square feet in the R2 district. The zoning ordinance allows the side yards of non-conforming lots to be reduced by the same percentage as the lot area is reduced, but no smaller than 5 feet. Based on the lot area of 1115 Chorus Street, this rule would allow a side yard of 7.1 feet, which is reduced from the required 8 feet, and a sum of side yards of 17.8 feet, reduced from the required 20 feet. The owner is requesting variations to reduce these to 5 feet and 10 feet respectively. The owner is also requesting a variation to reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to 15 feet so that the position of the new house would blend with the adjacent properties, which are older homes with setbacks of approximately 16 feet and 11 feet. The proposed setback to the covered porch would be 15 feet, while the setback to the front garage wall is shown as 19.5 feet. A plat of survey, site plan, elevations, and floor plans are attached, and there are no conditions associated with this request. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner here. Describe the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Your name and address, please.
Bob Gable from United Architects, 1002 Plainfield Road in Joliet.
Any comments you'd like to make, sir?
I'm just representing the owner. The owner's out of town, but we did the drawings for him and tried to
Okay,
fit the
any
house
questions
on
by the
lot.
board?
Yeah, I have one. Will the owner be occupying this property?
I don't believe so. The owner is a developer
Okay.
and he's building the house and he would most likely sell it.
Could you put your microphone close to your mouth, please? That's
The owner would probably be selling the house.
Any further questions by the board?
Are you the builder
Well, we're the architect.
or you the architect?
The owner is a builder also.
That it?
Can you give me a little bit of insight as to why they chose this floor plan? Or why they chose this? I mean, it just seems that, you know, with
Yeah.
the, you know, the size and everything, even in comparison to the houses on either side, it is a wider unit than it is a depth.
Correct, yeah. Basically, the owner came to us and he looked at a couple plans that we had already put together. And he kind of picked this one. He thought this one would fit, and then we tried to fit it on there, and it wasn't. We had to kind of squeeze it in, like you see there. But that was probably the only reason that the owner just wanted to use one of our
Kind of
plans that
pre-made.
we had. Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
4 bedrooms,
I believe so.
2 baths?
Yes. So it's yeah. You got the 2 baths on the top floor, and then you have like a powder room on the first floor.
Okay.
Further questions? Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes the petition. Ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Ms. Radakovich?
No.
Mr. Riggs?
Yes.
Ms. Rohr?
No.
Mr. Bias?
Yes.
Mr. Nachtrieb?
no.
Chairman Hennessy?
Aye.
So we have 3 ayes, 3 nays.
Goes to the board. There's no approval.
No recommendation.
Well, this ends
Oh,
at
it
the
ends
zoning
here.
board
It
of
ends here.
appeals.
Just goes to the council
I'm
without a
just gonna s-
recommendation.
It doesn't go to council. This does not go to council.
So this would have to come to next month's meeting, right?
We will consult with our legal counsel. They're not here. So that is the vote, though.
Yeah.
Okay. We will let you know what happens, okay? All right, next on the agenda is petition number 2024-60. The applicant and owner is First Choice Auto Sales, and the owner and applicant is Bujar Shabani. The location is 115 North Center Street. The request is a special use permit to allow an automobile storage lot for an existing used automobile sales business. Under purpose, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow an automobile storage lot that will be used to park inventory for their existing used automobile sales business. The applicant owns First Choice Auto Sales at 201 North Center Street. The subject of the special use request is the parking lot at 115 North Center Street. Per the City of Joliet zoning ordinance, uses related to automobile sales may be allowed as special uses by the mayor and city council with the advice of the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with section 47-5.2. Under site-specific information, the subject property is 6,270 square feet that contains an existing parking area. The property is accessed from an alley off Center Street that runs along the south side of the site. The petitioner installed an aluminum fence around the property in December of 2021. The property is zoned B3 General Business and has been a parking lot for decades. In the 1960s and 1970s, it was part of Kinney Motors car dealership that operated at 104 and 116 North Center Street. The lot remained under ownership related to Kinney Motors until the petitioner purchased it in 2021. The petitioner previously requested the same special use permit under petition 2022-73, which was recommended for denial by the Zoning Board of Appeals in December of 2022 and denied by the City Council in January of 2023. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the property is located on the west side of Center Street between Oneida Street and Jefferson Street. It is surrounded by residential and commercial properties with B3 general business zoning. Adjacent to the north is Last Chance Sports Bar and its parking lot, and adjacent to the west is a 2-unit residence. Across the alley to the south is a 5-unit residence, and across Center Street to the east is an 8-unit residence and a vacant commercial building. Under applicable regulations is section 47-13.2AG, which is special uses in the B3 General Business District, as well as section 47-5.2C, criteria for issuance of a special use permit. And you can refer to your attachment. Under discussion, the petitioner, which is the owner of First Choice Auto Sales at 201 North Center Street, is requesting a special use permit to use the property at 115 North Center Street to store extra inventory for their business. First Choice Auto Sales is a used car dealership located 1 block north of the proposed storage lot on a 6,000 square foot site that contains a small office building and 18 parking spaces. The dealership is located at the northwest corner of Center Street and Oneida Street and has no room to expand. 201 North Center Street has been a car dealership since at least the late 1980s, when a variation of use to allow used car sales was approved for the site, which is zoned B1 neighborhood business. The petitioner has operated First Choice Auto Sales at 201 North Center Street since 2018 and purchased the lot at 115 North Center Street in 2021. The proposed site plan for 115 North Center Street shows 16 parking spaces. The lot would only be used for storage of vehicles. No sales would be conducted on the property. And as a condition of approval, the special use permit would terminate if the variation of use that permits auto sales at 201 North Center Street were revoked, or if the use there were abandoned for longer than 1 year. As another condition, the parking lot will need to be repaved and striped in accordance with city regulations. Additionally, the petitioner will need to replace the public sidewalk along Center Street and the alley apron adjacent to Center Street. Staff finds that the request meets the criteria for special uses and that it will not be detrimental to public health or general welfare and will not be injurious to the use of other property in the immediate vicinity. The property will continue to operate as a parking area as it has for many years and will need to be improved per the proposed conditions. More than 1 year has lapsed since the previous denial of the same special use request at this site. For conditions, if the zoning board desires to approve the special use permit to allow an automobile storage lot for an existing used automobile sales business located at 115 North Center Street, the following conditions would be included. 1, that no sales or repair of automobiles shall be conducted on the property. 2, that no inoperable vehicles shall be stored on the property. 3, that the property shall be repaved and the parking spaces marked or painted in accordance with an approved city plan prior to utilization of the lot. 4, that the public sidewalk adjacent to the east side of the property and extending to the south side of the alley and the alley apron shall be replaced within 6 months of ordinance approval in accordance with the requirements of the Public Works Department. 5, that no business signage shall be permitted on the property. And 6, that the special use permit shall terminate if the variation of use for 201 North Center Street, which is under ordinance 8,562, is revoked, or if the use there is abandoned for longer than 1 year. 7, that the special use granted herein shall terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days of the effective date of this ordinance, and that any, the erection or alteration of a building is started or the use is commenced within such period. And the rest is our standard language about 180 days and period of validity. And 8, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and a possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner here,
Yes.
I'll step up to, I'll swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Name and address.
My name is Bujar Shabani, 704 Silver Park Drive in Joliet, Illinois. And I own my dealership in a 201 North Center since 2018. That lot, it was empty for a long time and I bought it. And like you see it in a picture, I keep good inventory there and look nice and clean. Everything is look great there, so I'm trying to grow my business a little bit more so I can hire more people. It's like a family business. And I bought the one 115 North Center Street and just try to keep it only for extra inventory there. They're not gonna be people walking there, they're not gonna be sales there, only to keep some extra inventory for me so I can have more people to hire so they can work there. And I'm here almost my life in Joliet. My kids, they graduate here, they are in school here. So I just want to grow my business here and be in state in Joliet.
Okay. Any questions by the board?
How long has that lot been vacant?
It was vacant forever, so, and especially in the main street to keep a lot like that empty so I can make that place look great with the lights on, with the cameras, fixing the sidewalk, putting new asphalt, keeping nice cars there, so I can make that place look like real good there, so.
Whose cars are currently on the lot today?
They are my cars, they are.
Your cars?
Yeah.
From your car lot?
They
Your
are,
car dealer?
no, not from the car lot. They are cars like before I get them ready for sale. They have to go detail shop, getting clean and everything, and then bring them back and put it there, you know. So they are like cars we just get it there to get them ready.
Any further questions? Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor? Is it in favor? I'll swear you in, sir. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your name and address.
Valen Shabani, 704 Silver Fox Drive, Joliet, Illinois. Well, I just want to say pretty much a lot of the same things that he did, but I currently go to school at Joliet Junior College, and I've lived in Joliet my whole life. And First Choice has been there since 2018, family owned. We bought it from Samodi's originally, and they had to leave because their lot was so small they couldn't continue doing business there, and we're facing the same problem now. We would love to stay in Joliet and, like he said, hire more people, but we would need this lot to expand our inventory. And it's already been used as a dealership, and a parking lot for a dealership in the past, so we would just want to use it for the same thing. First Choice Auto Sales, the current dealership, it has great reviews already, and we have never had problems with the city of Joliet or like any DMV or anything like that. We bring a lot of customers in from out of like other cities or out of state because we do online advertisements, so that just helps out the city of Joliet as well. And the way I see it, approving the special use permit has a lot of pros and not really any cons.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? I'll swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Name and address.
Nathaniel Washburn with KGG LLC, 111 North Ottawa Street. I'm here on behalf of my colleague Tom Osterberger and our client that owns the property at 117 to 119 North Center Street, known as Last Chance Sports Bar. I do believe you should have received a letter from Tom stating his objections and the various reasons for why, but I'll quickly try to summarize them just for the record, and that is this was previously heard and previously recommended for denial and denied in part due to the ongoing and admitted illegal use and storage of the vehicles on the property. It is a nuisance logistically for those in the area, with both the trucks being parked on Oneida Street blocking traffic, the lack of logistical support in terms of having to come out, turn around, bring a vehicle to their lot to show it, and then take it back when it doesn't need to be shown anymore. As the applicant may have Freudian slipped themselves, they have said, you know, they want to expand their inventory. They want to expand their dealership. A storage lot is not really an expansion of their inventory or an expansion of their dealership. It's just storage. But if they're intending to do something other than storage, which is the most likely outcome with this setup being split across not only a street, but across an entire different property owner and business that is in full operation, it just doesn't make sense to allow this use to occur here. And we would like to, again, on behalf of the adjoining property owner, renew and ask for our objection and ask for a recommendation of denial.
Okay. Is that bar in operation now? It was closed there for off and on.
Yes, it's back up in operation to the best of my knowledge, and again, we've had some issues with this property owner in the past, and we view this as, you know, likely to exacerbate past issues and present future issues as well.
Okay. Any questions for the board? Would you like to rebut that, sir? Would you like to comment on his comments?
So, with the owner of the building, they are there. The last time when I was applying for there, 2 days later, my lawyer called me. They say they want to buy that property from me so they can use it, but not me. So to me, it doesn't make sense to sell it to them so they can grow them business, but not mine. So they call me, they say, you're not gonna be able to use that lot, you have to sell it to us. You don't have another choice. So it's that I'm trying again to see, because it's just kinda, and doesn't bother them, nothing there. These bodies keep changing the names for 2 years, 2-3 times, staying empty, and to leave a lot like that on a main street like that empty doesn't look great to me, but that's what they told me. They want to buy it from me so they can use it, but not me.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Chair closes the petition and asks the board for discussion.
Motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Nachtrieb,
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich.
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, that was a unanimous vote for denial of the request. This will move to city council with a recommendation for denial. City council meeting will be second city council meeting in January. Is that 17th? 21st, January 21st. If you're interested in this agenda item, make sure you check the city council agenda before the meeting, just to see if there was any changes to the meeting agenda for that night. All right, next on the agenda is petition number 2024-61. The applicant is Philip Soto, and the owner is 515 Summit LLC. The location is 515 Summit Street. The request is an amendment to a variation of use, which is ordinance number 18661, and it's to allow a 6-unit residence in a R3 1 and 2 family residential zoning district. Under purpose, the petitioner is requesting an amendment to a variation of use, and this is ordinance number 18661, to allow a 6-unit residence in an R3, which is a 1 and 2 family residential zoning district located at 515 Summit Street. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval of a 5-unit at its May 2024 meeting, and the City Council approved this request for a 5-unit on June 18th of 2024. The petitioner is now seeking to add an additional unit and therefore requires an amendment to the original variation of use approval. This variation of use request must be considered by the City Council following the recommendation of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Under site-specific information, the property in question is 39,700 square feet in size. The building at 515 Summit Street is a factory complex of 4 connected buildings dating back to 1865, which served the Scheit and Stevens Brewery. The oldest buildings are the 4-story and 2-story Joliet limestone buildings facing Summit Street, as well as remnants of the ice house. The 4-story building was historically used as the malt house. The complex became Ader's Brewery in 1875. In 1883, Frederick Searing, who owned the Columbia Brewery just across the street at the southwest corner of Bridge and Summit Streets, purchased the brewery complex. And after the complex was no longer needed to support brewing operations, various small manufacturing, auto repair, and storage operations have occurred here. According to the petitioner, the rear auto body use will gradually be phased out. The R3, which is 1 and 2 family residential zoning classification, has never matched the land use of this property. The petitioner has 2 access driveways that lead from Summit Street to the rear parking areas. The north access driveway is by easement through the property of 302 Stone Street. The petitioner also seeks to acquire 2 city-owned lots on Stone Street that will be used for parking and site circulation. The complex has non-conforming front yard and north side yard setbacks for a residentially zoned property. Section 47-17-22-3, non-conforming structures of the zoning ordinance, allows pre-existing non-conformities to remain as long as the structures are not enlarged or altered in a way that increases their non-conformity. Under surrounding zoning and land use and character, the neighborhood surrounding the property is mostly single-family residences with a few multifamily residences. Land use and zoning for the adjacent properties are as follows. To the north, you have R2 single-family residential, and it's a single-family residence. To the south is R5, which is high-density multifamily residential, and that is a former office building. To the east is R2 single-family residential, and that's single-family residences. And to the west is R2 single-family residential, and it's a multifamily residence. Under applicable regulations, Section 47-7.1, which is R3 permitted principal uses. Section 47-7.8, which is R3 prohibited uses. Section 47-7.4, which is R3 yard and lot requirements. And Section 47-17-28, which is a variation of use. Under discussion, the petitioner and a business partner bought the subject property in 2022 with plans to repurpose the former brewery complex into a use complementary to the niche hospitality operations at Bishop's Hill Winery, which is located across the street from the subject property at 310 Bridge Street. The petitioner and a group of different investors own and operate Bishop's Hill Winery. The petitioner seeks to redevelop a portion of the complex, the oldest portion of the complex, into a 6-unit residence with the main entrance on Summit Street. Over the past few months, the petitioner determined that the existing elevator is beyond repair and too costly to replace. In order to meet requirements under the Americans with Disabilities Act, the new redevelopment proposal is to construct an ADA-compliant unit on the main level, which will then eliminate the need for an elevator. The petitioner plans to operate the 6-unit residence as short-term rentals, which he believes would complement the winery. He stated that clients hosting private events at the winery are often in Joliet for several days and desire lodging in a setting other than a hotel. The petitioner indicated that the units will be designed and built to function as typical apartments should he not wish to continue the short-term rental operations. The 6-unit residence will be enrolled in the city's rental inspection program. The main entrance to the residences will be at the northeast corner of the building, facing Summit Street. Guests or residents would enter through the first floor lobby to access the first, second, or third level residences by stairs. Every unit will have 9-foot, 10-inch ceilings, with the exception of Unit 0, which will have 13-foot ceilings, 13-foot high ceilings, and Unit number 1, which will have a 22-foot high ceiling for a portion of the unit. Floor plans and renderings are attached to your staff report packet. Unit 0, which is the first level unit, was going to have 1 bedroom and a kitchen and 1 full bathroom. Unit number 1 on the second level is a studio type unit with a sleeping loft on the mezzanine level, which is the one with 22-foot high ceilings, and a kitchen, 1 full bathroom, and then 1 half bath. Unit number 2 is on the second level. There is 1 bedroom, 1 full bathroom, a kitchen, and an office. Unit number 3 is on the second level, and there's 1 bedroom, a kitchen, and a full bathroom. Unit number 4 is on the third level, 1 bedroom, a kitchen, 1 full bathroom, and an office. And unit number 5 on the third level has 3 bedrooms, a living room, a lounge, a very large kitchen, 1 full bathroom, 1 half bathroom, and outdoor living space. And the zoning ordinance requires 9 off-street parking spaces for a 6-unit. Due to the proposed short-term rental use, staff recommends that the parking minimum be increased to 10 off-street parking spaces. Under suggested conditions of approval, if the zoning board desires to recommend approval of this variation of use amendment to allow a 6-unit residence at this location, the following conditions would be included. 1, that off-street parking for a minimum of 10 vehicles shall be created prior to the certificate of occupancy being issued. 2, that a service walk connecting the parking area to the main entrance be established prior to a certificate of occupancy being issued. 3, that a site plan be submitted to and approved by the engineering division showing circulation, parking, and stormwater drainage. That use of the property shall not be expanded in the future. 5, that the property shall be enrolled in and comply with the city's rental inspection program. And 6, should the property be declared a public nuisance by the city council, the variation of use shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the variation of use. And that concludes staff's report.
What is the minimum of vehicles? You said 10, but in our report here it says 8.
I'm sorry, where?
Under conditions, condition number 1.
Mine says 10.
I think you said 10, but here it says 8 on the sheet. Which is it?
So they are required to have 9, and staff is suggesting a minimum parking for 10.
For 10.
I'm not sure, my sheet doesn't have what you're
No,
showing.
that's okay. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
Petitioner here. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your name and address.
Philip Soto, 2530 West Medill Avenue, Chicago.
Go ahead.
Well, we're just trying to add one more, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're just trying to add one more unit so we can, do away with the elevator that was quite costly.
okay. Any questions by the board?
What was the cost of the elevator?
Well, we're trying to use the existing elevator, and it's beyond repair. It hasn't been used in quite a while, but we were under the assumption that was able to be
It usually runs,
usable.
what, between $30,000 and $40,000 a foot, I think.
No.
Yeah, well, we're getting prices of 120,000.
120?
Well, you must be going to Otis or
They get
something.
a free bottle of wine with that?
Well, we'll work on that.
Any further questions by the board?
So the parking in the rear would connect to the main, where they would be, like, it would be, my concern is if there was like somebody who needed the ADA room, they're able to access it if they park in the back as well?
Well, there's 2 lots on Stone Street that we're looking to acquiring that will be at street level for parking.
Okay. So are you talking, wait, I'm sorry, are you talking in the gravel section on the front of Stone Street right there?
Well, it's circled there and there shows an easement.
To the rear, right?
Right.
Okay. So you would need to, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. You would need to, use of that easement in order to, is that what you're saying?
No, we'd be acquiring lots 9 and 10.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And there would be parking for at least 15 cars there.
Any other questions?
So the parking for the handicap unit would be reserved just for that unit
Correct.
and fairly close to the door?
Yes.
Okay.
So would you have
Whatever you'd
entry
like.
on, would you have entry on Stone Street and on Summit, or just?
Right now, there's, on the plans, we have a entrance on Stone and on Summit.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You can continue to do wine, right?
Oh, I'm hoping. We're trying to expand.
Okay, all right. Were you the company that was downtown Joliet that moved here?
No.
Okay. This might be unrelated to you. The building directly south across the street, where the old Chancellor used to be. What are they doing with that, you know?
Well, we're my partners are working on that to expand the production.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? I'll swear you in. To swear that the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Name and address and speak up, please.
My name is Mary Parks. My address is 409 Douglas Street in Joliet, Illinois. My husband and I own property in Joliet. In our, well, we have a 4-unit, but it's in an area where we have been told that if something happens to that 4-unit, as say there's a fire and we have to rebuild, we can only rebuild as a 2-unit. And our understanding is that they're trying to decrease the density that was starting to build in the area of the near west side of Joliet. And yet this, to me, seems counterintuitive to that whole concept. There's a lot of issues, that we're just discovering today about this building. I would be concerned if this is a short-term rental, say somebody coming for a function, who is monitoring anything going on? Are they renting it out? Where are they renting it out? Is there any supervisory capacity? And you're talking 7 bedrooms from what I've just quickly. It just seems to be that there's a lot of room for issues and problems, especially since in past issues in front of the zoning board, B&Bs and things like that have been denied, and yet this is kind of almost essentially, it's almost like a hotel at this point. And I think that really could be a lot of problem. They're also talking about, well, we are going to acquire these 2 lots on Stone Street, but they haven't yet. And if those lots are not acquired, and my husband and I just drove by today, there's no room for parking. It's not even a very wide street on Summit. And, so people are gonna end up on the street, back and forth. If I lived on Summit Street, I'd be pretty upset about that level, that amount of traffic. And like I said, you have people coming from functions, alcohol, things like that. I mean, that to me, it seems like there's a lot of issues that are, everything says like, well, if we can't make it as a short term, we'll turn it into a long term. There's just a lot of issues that are very vague, and I think at the very least we deserve some much more definite answers. But I am very concerned specifically with, if something happens to our 4-unit building, then can we go ahead and can we rebuild as a 4-unit?
You could if you came before this board and asked for variation. That's what this board exists for.
Well,
To
and
give
I
relief.
understand that, but I'm saying I think we need to decide, okay, what kind of density are we talking about? Because if these type of high-density buildings kind of sneak in, I think it's going to create the problem that R1 or that R3 zoning was designed to prevent, the increased density. And those small little 1-bedroom or 1-story houses that are in the neighborhood, I just can't see a 6-unit blending with that type of housing that's there now. I can't believe that there's no other ability to use that building for something else. But it just seems like a kind of a cross between a hotel and what else. And especially, like I said, there's no oversight. It just seems like there could be a lot of problems. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Petitioner, you'd like to respond?
Well, I think one of the things to point out, it is just under an acre of land. It's just under 30,000 square feet. So I'm not sure your 4-flat.
Address your comments to the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the 4-flat situation, but we're trying to make the best use of a large building and a residential street, and we're trying to get rid of the commercial nature of the building, at least a portion of it. And there is parking in the back of the building in case we don't acquire the Stone Street properties.
Who's acting as the concierge? They're deciding who goes in to these apartments on a rental basis?
It's a security system code, to get buzzed in, and there's going to be security cameras.
So that if you're having an event at the winery, do you contemplate that almost all the people that will be staying there are associated with that coming there for an event? Or can you just rent these out, as the lady said, like a hotel room?
Well, we've had inquiries from people who are over at the Haley Mansion and all that are coming in town. They would like to have another place to stay, and being in the neighborhood for 2 nights, I don't think it'll be that big of a impact.
Who vets the people that'll be living in these? I mean, it's almost like a B&B or something.
Well, it is very similar to that. I mean, how can you,
So if I called up your place and I said, I'd like to, rent a unit for the weekend, and you're not having anything at the winery as a show of any kind, who would I go to rent it?
that would be through me,
Through you?
which I have apartment buildings in Chicago.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by the board?
Just a regular Airbnb, right? Just a regular Airbnb?
Yes.
Have you cost out the construction, how much you're gonna put into this building?
Probably about $1.8 million.
Okay. And what's the timeline if you,
Well, once we get approval here, we can finish the plans, for construction.
okay.
Is that it? Chair closes the petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Nachtrieb?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
Okay, this will go to the city council with a recommendation for approval to amend the existing variation of use to allow an additional unit at this location. And as we said earlier, that meeting is likely to be January 21st here in the city council chambers.
Motion to adjourn would be
Motion
in
to
order.
adjourn.
Well, that was fast.
Second.
Actually, well, hold on, we're not, so next on the agenda is actually old business or new business, not for final action or recommendation, and there is nothing. And then the next is public comment, and this is for anyone wishing to speak regarding non-agenda items, and you are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and the zoning board of appeals members do not generally respond to public comments. Is there anyone here who would like to speak under public comments? With that, the next thing on the agenda is adjournment.
My favorite thing.
Okay.
Motion would be in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Poll the board.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Nachtrieb?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.